every year at the night of Leil HaSeder, at the night of Pesach, there's such a big light that is coming down that it's actually considered to be, if to use the wording of the Kabbalists, then they would say that it's such a bright light that we don't even have the vessels to hold a space for such a big light. Okay, like the Kabbalists, they talk about a light and a vessel. Okay, whenever we are exposed to a spiritual light of any source, we must have the proper vessel so we can actually contain this light. So our sages say, you know what, actually, usually whenever we do a spiritual process in our world, then there's no skipping, right? Like, I mean, unless you're like using something to help you, like an external thing, unless you're doing drugs, then there's no such thing of waking up suddenly and being in a totally different consciousness, right? Like, we know that whenever we do spiritual work, we need to build it step by step, step by step. But Pesach is something different. With Pesach, it's like the first evening of this process, like boom, like all this light, we can't even handle it. We can't even hold the space for it. And then we're basically are starting a process of building ourselves layer upon layer, level after level, until we are actually the right vessels, the proper vessel to be able to hold the space for the light of Pesach. So this very much reminded me of this midrash that I want to share with you. Okay, midrash is basically a story that is told by our sages that we're not supposed to take in a literal sense, but there's wisdom in that story for us. So Meir, do you want to post the text so we can all see it and read it together?
Can you see it okay?
Yeah, I see it fine.
Okay. This is from Masechet Nida. Rabbi Samlai taught, to what is a fetus in his mother's womb comparable? To a folded notebook, the pinkas, and it rests with its hands on its two sides of its head at the temples, its two arms on its two knees, its two heels on its two bottoms, and its head rests between its knees, and its mouth is closed, and its umbilicus is open. And it eats from what its mother eats, and it drinks from what she drinks. And it does not emit excrement lest it kill its mother. But once it emerges into the airspace of the world, the closed limb, the mouth, opens, and the open limb, the umbilical cord, closes, as otherwise it cannot live even for an hour. I'm going to keep going.
Keep going.
Okay, and a candle is lit for it above its head. And it gazes from one end of the earth to the other, as it stated, when his lamp shined above my head, and by his light I walked through darkness, from Job. And do not wonder how one can see from one end of the world to the other, as a person can sleep here in this location and see a dream that takes place in a place as distant as Spain. And a fetus is taught the entire Torah while in the womb, as it is stated. And he taught me and said to me, let your heart hold fast my words, keep my commandments, and live, from Proverbs. And it also states, as I was in the days of my youth, when the conversation of God was upon my tent. And once the fetus emerges into the airspace of the world, an angel comes and touches or slaps it on the mouth, causing it to forget the entire Torah. As it stated, sin crouches at the entrance, i.e., when a person enters the world, he's immediately liable to sin due to his loss of Torah knowledge. And this is why the baby is crying when he comes out into this world.
Okay, Toda Meir. Okay, so we see in this midrash, there's this beautiful description of the baby in his mother's womb. And basically it tells us that before coming out to this world, the baby is in such a high spiritual level that he knows everything. He sees everything. He sees the oneness, all the wisdom that he's supposed to be later on gaining in his life. All that knowledge, all that spiritual knowledge, like he sees it, he knows it. Okay, he gets it as a gift from this angel. But too bad, right before he's going out to this world, the angel, like, remember Men in Black when they had that machine of erasing your memory? Okay?
Yeah.
The angel presses the button and the baby comes out and he lost this entire knowledge. Okay? So the obvious question is, of course, what is the point? I mean, if you're gonna make the baby forget all that knowledge, then why did you went through the trouble of teaching him and showing him everything? I mean, it seems a little pointless, right? Like you knew all along that he's gonna forget it one day. So what do you guys think? What's the point of having this little baby knowing everything, but then forgetting it right before he enters the world? Who has an idea?
You can raise your hand. You can open your mic if you have a.
Maybe because, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe because once you've learnt something, then it's much easier to relearn it, and it feels like you're learning something that you already knew, rather than learning it completely from scratch.
Right. Tada. Beautifully said. I agree, and I think exactly like you said that the journey in this world is we're not supposed to learn something that is external, that is foreign to us. The word we use in Hebrew is tshuva. Tshuva means to return. Basically, like you're just reclaiming, you're always kind of evolving, not to a new thing that was never a part of your reality, but you're actually coming closer and closer to yourself, right? To your true essence, to what you were before even coming down here to this world. You know, I have a picture at my parents' house as I think it was my birthday, and I was maybe four years old or something. And you know how kids, they're just so enlightened, right? Their eyes are shining. They have such pure love. And till the day, whenever I'm looking at the picture, I'm saying to myself, wow, like so much of my journey is to go back to be able to look at the world with these innocent, loving eyes, right? Like it's almost like that 4-year-old child that was me is a teacher for me, right? So, so this journey is actually a journey that the Kabbalists say that is both the journey of the people of Israel. You know, when we came out of Egypt, we were like babies, right? Like we were so passive. God was doing everything for us. He was the one bringing down the 10 plagues. He was the one tearing the sea. We were just like witnessing all these miracles, but not really doing anything to earn all these lights, right? Because we were babies. So when you're a baby, your parent is doing everything for you. And the Kabbalists are saying, and I want to introduce, or maybe some of you are familiar of these Kabbalistic concepts, but I think they're so fascinating. So I want to share these terms with you. The Kabbalists are saying that this is basically the journey that every soul is going through when it's going down to this reality, right? So before we come to this world, we're in some other dimension where we know the oneness of God. It's this godly space where there's nothing but the pure love and light of Hashem. But why did we not stay there? Why do we have to take the trouble of coming down to such a darker reality where nothing here is obvious? And sometimes we get here so confused and our reality can get so chaotic, and we can come through like all these situations where we're just like so lost. So like, what's the point? So the thing is that once upon a time when we were up there, it's true, we were so enlightened, but we were completely passive. We were not independent. It's not something that we chose. It's almost like saying that just like in a baby in his mother's womb, we were not even like a separate like entity. Okay, it was like God existed and we were blessing off his light, and then that's it. So in the semantic of the Kabbalists, they would say that this unification that we have with the oneness is called back to back. Okay, what is back to back? Yes, you're one with something, but not because you did anything for it. You didn't own it. Okay, that's just your reality. And now basically that you were separated and sent away to your own journey, you're basically forced to go through a lot of challenges of life. But through these challenges, you're actually growing. You have the potential of growing and becoming an independent individual. And now when you're going to do the journey back to that original place where you were, to that same oneness with God, this time it's going to be in such a deeper level. Why? Because now you chose it. Now you are an independent individual. You're not a baby anymore. Okay, so you're basically going full circle, and you're going back to that same point where you started, but this time in such a deeper way. So we know that Pesach is it's a new year, right? Pesach.
Hey, Yifat, we can't hear you.
I think she froze.
Yeah, she froze. Yifat. Okay, hold on, everybody. Let's see if we can get her.
Good to see you guys.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Mayor. Hi, Ilana.
Hey, Lauren.
Hi, Nathan. Hi, Aaron. Nice to meet you, Miriam.
Hold on, guys. I'm going to see if I can get her here.
Nice to meet you, Lauren. I'm not Miriam, but also nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Julia.
Hi.
How you doing? It's good to see you.
It's so good to see you. When I saw your name and when I heard your voice, I was like, oh my gosh, I know that voice. It's so good.
Shira's here. Hi, Shira.
Hey.
Okay, Yifat is going to drop out and come back in. Okay, we haven't lost her completely.
Thank God.
Technicalities. Where is everybody? Jake said he's in Florida, which we can tell from him sunbathing in the chair. Lauren's in Florida, right?
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
We're in Florida.
We're in St. Petersburg.
Oh, I'm in West Palm. I actually live in New York, but I fled for the pandemic.
Hey,
Oh, gee.
Miriam, wait, where are you? Let's see.
HaKodesh.
Where are you, Miriam?
Ir HaKodesh.
Oh, thank God.
Ken, Baruch Hashem.
Julia, where are you?
I'm in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, amazing. Michael, where are you?
Me? I'm at home. Where are you?
I'm also at home.
Well, we're right next door.
Oh, great. Okay. All right.
אתם רואים את יפעת? אוקיי, הנה, לא, אני כי אני באוף על הוידאו.
Okay. Up. Yay.
Hey.
Come on, say something.
I'm back!
Okay.
Missed you.
All right. So I'm going
Missed
to,
you.
does anybody have a question or comment before she gets started again?
Yeah, could we have the source sheet, please?
Sure.
Like
I'll
on
put
the
it back
chat?
up here. And I'll also share it with you in the chat box. Okay.
Thank you.
You did so well at the wedding, Yifat. It was so beautiful.
You mean just now?
Yes.
Oh, you saw it?
Oh, yes, I did. You you helped the whole scene. It was beautiful.
Oh, there was so much light there. It was amazing.
It felt like it. Felt like it from all the way over here.
Mm-hmm. Another Livnot balcony wedding.
Okay. We ready?
Okay.
It's up.
So who had the question?
And no, she just wanted to see.
Oh, she just wanted to see it?
Lauren wanted the text back up there.
Okay. So maybe just to say that I think this is this incredible concept of, so many, I think there's a lot of misconceptions talking about God, right? A lot of people have a lot of weird ideas in their mind, like angry gentleman with a long beard sitting on a cloud somewhere, right? And other descriptions like that, they're extremely foreign to Judaism. And one of these things that are so foreign to Judaism is to see the relationship between God and man as we are these like little beings, and we're supposed to like obey the Almighty, right? Like something, and there's this external voice that is just dropping all these weird rules upon us as we're supposed to obey for whatever reason. And I think a way to think about this relationship that we see in this text and this little thing that we just learned is that basically the Jewish God, right? The Jewish way of seeing this relationship is that really God wanted to create someone that he can really talk to, right? I mean, there's so many creatures in the world, right? Like cows and goats and giraffes, but like God can't really talk to all these creatures. Only if God is creating an entity that is like godly, that is in God's image, that is also independent, right? Then, so to speak, like God has really someone to talk to, right? And not only talk to, but the first Jew, Abraham, he's even talking back, right? Like when God is like, hey, I'm going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham is literally, hey, you're going to have to walk through me, right? Like, no, this is not cool. Like, maybe there is some decent people there, right? And it's this relationship where God wants us to have independence, to be free, to be these free entities that we can speak our minds. And the whole journey that we're going towards is not to like basically we were in Egypt, right? So we had a boss, right? Pharaoh was the boss, and he was telling us what we should or shouldn't do. And when Moses came into Egypt and said, let my people go, basically he's telling the Jewish people, once everything is going to go according to plan and we're going to go out of Egypt, then now you're going to have a new boss, right? And it's going to be our God. So you can kind of like say, wait a second. So what did we gain out of this deal? We used to have a boss, Pharaoh, and now we have a new boss, which is God, but we're still being told what to do, right? So how is this a good deal, right? But what is the big difference? The big difference is when Pharaoh is the boss, then he is very comfortable with this relationship where he's up here and you're down here, and he's like, okay, shine my shoes, you slave, right? And he always wants us to stay this way. But when God is the new boss, then God is kind of like saying, come up to me. I want you to be like me. I want you to reveal your own godly nature. So it's kind of like we said before, like with the baby, but on a national level, it's kind of like going full circle where it's not an external voice that we're trying to be led by, but it's actually this return to our deepest essence, right? Just like the baby or us as humans, we're trying our entire life to go back to that pure essence that we were when we were like babies in our mommy's bellies, right? So the next question I kind of want to pose is, we know, like we said at the beginning, usually when we want to make a change in our reality, then usually it's step by step. Usually it's a process. But sometimes when you want to do a change, like sometimes you need to do a very clear cut, right? Like to go from one thing to another thing, right? Like in these two ways of going about changes can be represented by the matzah and the bread. Okay, because what is matzah? Matzah is basically bread with no process. Okay, bread you're making, then you need to let it rise once, then you need to let it rise twice, then you need to let it rise in the shapes, right? And matzah, it's this like flour, water, boom, into the oven, right? Like no process, just like this pure essence. So just wanted to hear your thoughts about, when do you think in life it's more appropriate to do a very drastic change rather than a change that includes more of a process? What do you think, Lauren?
Oh, I feel like it's one of those things, like when you get really excited about health too, for example, and or things about that could change your life, and I don't know, like, let me think about it for a sec. I have something. I'm gonna get there.
Okay.
Oh,
when you mentioned, sorry, Lauren, I'm trying to bail you out if you need some time. When I was thinking about what you said there, my brain went to the Lech Lecha lesson we had at Livnot about sometimes you don't need to make a huge decision, but just make a decision that goes toward yourself, right? Go toward whatever you think you need to be. And the magnitude of a decision is really a subjective thing, right? Like going to go move somewhere new, or whatever your reaction was to this pandemic, how big or small a decision that is a very relative thing. So my brain, I don't know exactly how, but my brain kind of connected that with the concept of Lech Lecha, just make the decision that moves toward who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, anybody else? Miriam.
Well, I've heard this many times from people who are in Kiruv, in connecting Jews back to Judaism, that those who do it too rapidly end up having an issue with that aspect of it being too rapidly. So it seems like a gradual process of learning, of shiurim, of classes, seems to be a better way to go to have it more meaningful. And you have to pick the great teachers, though. And Baruch Hashem, next to Tzvat, I'm in the city where there's such a concentration. It's mind-blowing. But to have teachers who will inspire you, and to have teachers who will open up all that, in my case, I feel I've been denied in my earlier life. So, but it's never too late. It's never too late. And to me, I found in hearing so many teachers through the years that the ones that are inspiring are the ones that make you move from your comfort zone into a wow situation where you can't get enough.
So this is actually the first mitzvah we got as a people. When we were in Egypt, then we got this mitzvah that says, "Hachodesh hazeh lachem," this month for you. Rishon hu lachem lechodshei hashana. You should always make it the first month. But in Hebrew, the word for month is chadash, is new, meaning always move, always be in movement, always be in renew yourself, right? It's such a basic thing, and you're such an inspiration for us with always moving. It's amazing.
Well, I'm so glad Mayor brought up Lech Lecha, because every time I hear that, not only, by the way, was it Yoni and Pesach's Torah portion, and their older brother, but it is so magnificent when you learn Hebrew and learn dikduk and the grammar, and you see, yes, it is. Return, go back to yourself, the essence of who you really are, the essence of what Hashem wants us to be.
Right.
That was Jake's comment. Give him the credit.
Okay, sorry.
So anybody else? So I think, yeah.
So I think there are times when you, like leaving Egypt, you just got to go. Faster the better.
Yeah.
And what Lauren was saying, there are things, I think, certain times in your life where it's now or never, or if I just keep going down this road, it's just going to get worse. And it's not a easy change. Sometimes you can do things with an easy change. Sometimes you have to make a drastic change. And it might be that some of the things that are going on now are enough to get us to ask that question. What I don't want to be stuck in my house for months, and what do I have to do in my own little part of the world to make that difference? So I think there are times when you got to jump.
I was gonna say,
yeah, Lauren.
It's okay. The Lech Lecha really sparked it for me, because I feel like that was what I was searching for. But also in even talks about like Lashon Hara, like even like learning how we speak to each other affects each other. There were things that I would learn that I would immediately implement upon learning them, and it was like I've never been as like rapid to implement things until learning about into like Judaism, because like those things directly clicked with me, and I was like, oh my gosh, my impact on the world is so like vital, and it really does add up. So those things I changed immediately as well.
And that's actually one of the themes of Pesach, because Pesach, another meaning of the word Pesach is pe is mouth in Hebrew, and sach is talking, right? Pesach is a talking mouth. Paro, Pharaoh, pera, bad mouth. Okay? And we know Moshe was, how do you say megamgemer? Stuttering, right? If Moses is kind of like reflecting our people as a whole, then it's almost like saying that his words were in exile, right? Like he still wasn't able to talk properly and to really create the world he wants through his speech, since we were under this like bad mouth of Pharaoh. So there's a whole theme around liberating our positive speech that has a lot to do with Pesach. So just to conclude all the beautiful things that were said, yeah, I think sometimes you need to, especially when you're in an in a toxic environment, or when you're in a place where it's just like you feel I'm out of my place. This place is not the true nature of my soul, right? Sometimes you just need to like get up and go, get up and leave, like do what Nachshon did, like just jump into the water, and maybe there's going to still be a gap afterwards that you're going to have to make up, right? Like, because you might find yourself in a whole new reality. And maybe then it's going to have to come a process of building yourself a bit more properly to really earn the new space that you're achieving, that you want to go to. But there's something about when someone is in a dark place that you just want to like shine him with a very, very bright light to say, hey, like, this is the horizon, like, this is where you can go to, this is where you can be at, and to bring a person such a big inspiration that is basically a reminder, again, of not anything external, but who we really are. You know, in the Kabbalists, they talk about different level of consciousness that we have. So they call it nefesh, ruach, and neshama. And nefesh is that basic glasses that we go through the world with, you know, all that places that might have carrying certain wounds from our childhood, and like certain things that were not empowering for us. But I think Pesach wants to be a reminder of like, hey, but you also have this pure soul. Like, remember where you came from? Like, there is a part in you that is all-knowing, you know, that is still connected to that place, like from before you came to the world. And this pure essence is what is trying to be symbolized by the matzah, okay? Because the bread is kind of like, yeah, I'm going through a process, I'm rising, wait, I'm working on it, I'm trying to figure it out. But the matzah is this like, it's the pure essence. It's the flour and water, and that's it, right? And you're actually literally eating it, and it's supposed to be this reminder of a pure essence. So I think this is like, just to bring this full circle. This is the process of Pesach, and then the counting of the Omer, and then Shavuot. The people of Israel were in this place where they were slaves. And not only they were literally slaves, but in their consciousness, they were slaves, right? How do we know this? We know this because later on, when they were in the desert, they kept like complaining, and you could see that they're not free people yet, right? And there was a need to just like shutter them, like just a big boom of so much light, which was really too much, okay? And then started a process of kind of like rebuilding it and basically earning that light that you were exposed with to begin with, right? But last time, God did it all for you. And now you're going through your own journey in this world. And the whole point is you want to re-earn this light. You want to be able to become a free, independent identity, which can really be a partner to God in this great mission that we have in this world, to enlighten ourselves, to enlighten the entire reality, to bring these values of humans are not slaves and everybody has a godly nature to connect to. So I guess I just want to end with giving us this blessing of liberating ourselves from all these inner and outer voices that might keep us away from ourselves, from our true essence. And may we like be able to grow to be what we were meant to be here in this world, which is ambassadors of godliness. Yeah, does anybody want to share a thought?
I do. Just that, oh, is someone else speaking? No, I
No,
just
you-
want to say that your one line, besides many lines you said at the end, to re-earn the light. Amazing. 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 So beautiful. As are you.
תודה, אימא.
You're welcome, sweetie.
Miriam is my second Ima.
Anyone
You know,
else?
can I just suggest, Lauren mentioned about Lashon Hara, and this is something she's been focusing on. I just wanted to mention the Chofetz Chaim. Have you heard of that rabbi's name, Lauren?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, so there's, if you go to a Judaic bookstore, his focus was on, a lot of his teaching was on Lashon Hara. Ken? Right? So there's, he wrote many books, but there's one they put together, a daily message from the Chofetz Chaim. And it's a daily reminder of something you can do to help in the process of stopping, holding back and stopping. And you just wouldn't believe the items, the suggestions that are in there. So
You would love it.
what's that?
She would love it. Lauren
Yeah.
would love this book.
I think it's called The Daily Dose, something like that. I think I have it in the other room.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if I can just, Miriam, if I can add to that, there's an amazing amount of literature out there on all sorts of different topics and books on Jewish values and on Lashon Hara, and right. And one of the things that Yifat put up here on the source sheet was Sefaria, which is I'll put it down there. It's in the chat box. You can see it.
Yes.
They've got they have stuff on English and Hebrew for almost the entirety of the Jewish canon, the Talmud, the Midrash.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yifat, thank you very much.
Besimcha. If I won't see you guys or some of you before Pesach, so Pesach kasher v'sameach. Have the happiest Pesach.
Amen.
Healing for you, healing for the whole world.
To you
Thank you,
too,
Yifat.
right back.
Thank
at
goodness
you.
the whole world is Shomer Nagia now, so that's nice.
They've seen the light.
Yeah, okay. And to find out what's coming up next for next week and the weeks after, there's the Livnot Facebook page has the different events on there. Okay.
Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you, Yifat.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Love you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. Love to all.
Thank you for your recommendation, Miriam.
You're welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure. Yifat will give you more information if you need.
Besimcha.
Good to
Bye,
see you all.
Bye,
thank you.
Bye, thank
I never want to leave. You gotta push me out.
Who's staying till last?
Not when Yifat's around.
I gotta go back to work, so I will bounce.
It's like no one stands at the front
See
door
ya.
of Livnot and says goodbye, just to see you later.
Everyone takes as long as you can to leave.
I think it's awesome that we're doing this. I think it's a miracle because we. Sorry, go ahead.
Bye, Elena.
Bye, Elena. Sorry. Oh. I was gonna say that it's amazing because we don't get Mayor. You know what I mean? Like Mayor doesn't always come join us for our chavrutas. He's normally so busy. So part of this whole quarantine has brought us Mayor into our chavrutas, which is amazing. So.
I insist. I need the whole crew supporting.
Chico can be here.
Did you
Chico
all
can
meet
join us.
on Birthright?
Me?
Did you all?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
After birthright for me.
Oh, really?
Like Livnot programs.
Yeah.
Livnot specifically.
I don't want to embarrass Yifat, but
I'm leaving. I'm leaving the meeting. I'm going away.
Wait, I have one sentence.
No, make it stop.
You know what I'm going to say at someone's smicha.
I want to say that Miriam is the woman that gave birth.
It's my turn. Back
to
at you.
two of the brightest lights in the world, Rabbi Pesach Sameach.
Who at his smicha program, Yifat was there and he turned to her and he said, "You are the foundation. You are the inspiration of me becoming an Orthodox rabbi."
I'm just teaching everybody what I learned from Pesach.
I'm so glad she got that kavod. So glad.
Everything I know, Pesach taught me.
Right. And then his twin brother and wife met at Livnot.
That is true.
Right?
Oh, that's amazing. Like Pesach?
Like Pesach.
Yes, you know him?
This is the woman that brought Pesach into the world.
Wait, okay, wow, because you have to understand, I've never met your son, but I feel like I know him very dearly because of all the people that leave notes, like beautiful renditions of him. I love it. So it's so funny to see this first circle.
He has taken all those great songs he brought to Livnot or learned at Livnot or whatever. And now the camp that his brother started, 10 years ago, they all sing all the Livnot songs. To sing there.
I had somebody who was on one of my birthright trips, and she was at his camp, so she knew all the Livnot songs from him.
Oh, is that right? That's so great. Eden Village, and now there's an Eden Village.
You took my camp songs, and I was like, no, we were here.
Yeah.
That's so great. That's so great. Thanks again, Yifat.
Baruch Hashem. Toda rabba, everybody.
Thank you, Yifat.
Thank you, Nathan. להתראות.
להתראות.